July 27, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. There was no economic data to really move the market. I took a trade and it was profitable, which is this one. I found a really good trade here, but I actually wasn't ready to take it. And then for the rest of the day, there wasn't that many other good setups. So I'd say the majority of the good setups, or the setups that I thought were worth taking, probably happened in the first hour to an hour and a half. I actually sat through the entire day today. Had some time to actually sit through and watch it. So get into trades right now. So there was a spike up from Friday, just kind of gapped up, and then on the open, it was already gapped up. So I was thinking there's a possibility this gap would close, and it does, because I guess markets usually like to close the gaps when something like that happens. Not always, but so then prices looked like it was just kind of moved down, pushed up, break, pushed to the high, chopped around, and this is right about where the open was. So in the open, it was kind of moving down, no clear um, bias at the moment, because when you see this in real time, it looks like it could be sideways. Go ahead and drag this down a little bit. So prices move down, pushes up on this green up channel, break, makes an attempt at the high. I thought this was possibly a triple test, maybe a second entry short. I didn't take it though, but I thought it was a possible trade because this is a break. It is attempt at the high. This is a strong engulfing bar of this signal bar. The signal bar isn't the best, but it is a triple test or even a multiple test, depending on how you counted it. But I said it's like one touch, one or two touches, definitely a second touch. And there's enough of a gap that I count this as a third touch, or if you count it as a fourth touch from two steps here, then there is a multiple test or a triple test here, strong engulfing bar push down. Wasn't too concerned about the EMA right here. This was admittedly like, shortly after the open. It's not super early, but it's like about, I think, 10 minutes after the open. So I wasn't really quite mentally prepared to take this. I saw it, but I saw it, had a hunch, but that doesn't count because the hunch isn't good enough. So the prices move down. As soon as it starts moving down, looking for a lower high. There was no lower high that shows up. Pushes down, break, tests the low, and starts reversing back up. At this point, I'm thinking, is this a larger trading range that could be kind of bookend by this low of day, this area low of day, or in this high? So I was watching for a potential move back up. This yellow down channel doesn't exist yet. Also keep in mind that I was thinking prices eventually want to close this gap, but this wasn't strong enough push down yet, so I wasn't really sure. So it's just kind of a watching and waiting game. Let's go ahead and crunch this. It pushes down, makes a first entry short. Technically, if a second entry short, it's the inside bar. Looks more like a visual first entry, push up, and this could be your second entry. But this isn't a good signal bar, no setup that I like. Then there's a lower high here, but this lower high, if it closed at the low, then I feel better about it, but it kind of closed and then pushed back up. So it showed a little bit of bullish uh, momentum or bullish buyers coming back in and buying this. So I didn't really like what I saw here. Prices started moving down this orange down channel, break, test the low, and then this actually sets up where I took my first, well, my one and only trade. So it bounces off here, makes a new low, makes first attempt up, pull back, second attempt up. When it made the second attempt up, I'm watching this in real time. I'm thinking that when two legs up, it could try to test the low here. This is admittedly a little bit more aggressive. It opens, it picks above this guy by one, and it starts moving down. And as it's chopping around, I'm watching the ticks remaining, and it was counting down. So it's getting close to the end. I opened my order down here. I waited. It moved up a little bit. I dragged my order to be pretty much one tick, not even one tick, right at the lows of this guy. It flushes and it hits my order, which I was okay with because the tick count was really running down to close to the end. Now, nothing to say that, and it has happened, that even though the tick count gets really low, it could rally back up because this tick count is just telling me that this candle for my chart is about to close. But if this candle isn't synchronized with the rest of what's going on, this could be on a different chart or different time synchronization. that this might not look that good, but I went with what I saw. I saw 2 legs up, 2 measured legs up, engulfing, strong push down, took it, got my 6 ticks, now it's out. When I came back here, I was looking for a lower high confirmation, but there was no lower high, but I was pretty happy with this trade. Pops around sideways. EMA is starting to act as resistance. Pushes down. Looks like those 2 legs up. When I see this, I'm thinking, this looks like a repeat of what was going on here. At this point, I do have this trend line coming down established because I had 1 touch, 2 touch, 3. I had this actually a little tighter. I actually had it up here and I treated this as a failed breakout. Then it went sideways and continued down. Later, I did establish it down here, but whether it's here or where it was, what really mattered to me is this resistance of this yellow down channel. So it's like a 4th touch confirmation. I thought this was a possible trade. It is a green bar, but it looks like it was 2 legs up. Thought it might have been a possible trade. Didn't take it. Then an even better setup shows up. It was a lower high, but I also didn't take it, unfortunately. It's like a first entry short. By the technical count, I just moved this guy out of the way. There's a technical count first entry short here, second entry, but it looks like it's 1 leg pullback, second leg. So visually, the second entry short with a lower high confirmation. And this actually I thought was probably a really good trade to have taken because there's only like 9 ticks. It's getting a rejection off this confirmed yellow down channel resistance. Bias is coming down, enough room to the low, closed at the low, so this is probably a good trade to have taken. Prices move down, kind of pushes up, and then it moves down this orange down channel. Doesn't really set up any clean second entries here, so I didn't mark any trades. It's a localized low. First entry short, second entry short. I'm not a big fan of these candles when they're just kind of side by side. And even before I established this blue range, it looks like it's ranging. It looks like it's just chopping sideways. But the size of these candles, pretty much the entire span, their size is about the size of the entire range itself. So it just leaves it very choppy. It makes it risky to enter a trade because my stop would probably be above this guy or below this guy. And with the candles being so large, it feels like you could easily get stopped out and it would just chop and reverse on you. So I didn't really take or like anything setting up in here. Pushes down to localized low, creates a first entry short, pullback. I thought this might have been a possible trade at the time. I wasn't that confident on it, so I think I'll call it probably an almost trade because I really didn't identify it in real time. It was pretty much after the fact. After this candle closed and it went to this one, that I thought, oh, there's a second entry short there. So it's not fair to say it's a possible trade because I don't think I identified it in real time. I saw it, had a hunch, but it wasn't good enough. So it's like first entry short, pullback. I liked it that it went 1 tick above and it engulfed it completely. But as soon as this one finishes and it was confirmed by this guy, so I'm looking for a lower high. But the lower high shows up after the price has already made a new low of day, at least at this time of day. So I couldn't take this. Pushes up, starts reversing, no clean second entries. Pushes up in this green up channel. Again, no clean second entries. Makes a first entry long pullback. You technically have a second entry long potential fail breakout, but this EMA is starting to act as support. So when I see this in real time, I wanted ideally this guy to have broken above this EMA and closed. If this same candle had actually just been a little bit higher or just been a little bit bigger with the same close, then I thought it would have been first entry, pullback, second entry. So I was waiting for something like that. Didn't happen. Then the follow through gives me doubt because this looks like first entry, second entry. For a clean second entry, I want this to be a bullish bar. So now I'm waiting for a higher low. And they don't really get a higher low till this guy. And when I see this guy open and close, he's pushing right into the top of this range. So I'm reluctant to take a buy order or to enter long here because even though there's a higher low, I'm already near the highs of this potential range. Yes, it could push back up, but it did feel super safe because I'm looking for 6 ticks. And right here, from here where my cursor is to here is 2 points. So I'd be asking for the next candle to push cleanly up to about right here to be safe when I already know there's a resistance here. In this case, it wouldn't have worked. So prices move down, pushes down, pushes up. There's a first entry short. Unfortunately, this guy never broke above this guy to give you a second entry short. So you really only have a first entry short. kind of sideways. You could count this as a second entry short by the technical count, but this is a very terrible signal. So I'm not a big fan of this. So it's just pretty much sideways. Just look at first entry short, sideways movement, pushes down, hits again, tests the low of day, which is this red line. This red line tracks the low of day of just today. And it's already down here. So it's breaking. It looks bearish, but I can't really trust it yet. So first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. Looks like it was a measured leg up. I saw this and I was hoping for a lower high. So I'm seeing this. I look like one leg up, pull back, second leg. Looks like a decent signal bar. Opens, pushes up, closes this way. I'm now looking for a lower high. Like there's just about, I think, 2 ticks here. So asking for a lower high here is kind of a tall order. It doesn't happen. It creates another little tick higher. So now I'm just waiting. I don't really like anything I see here. It's choppy, a little bit sideways. Hits this area where it looks like there's this support that's being respected. And it starts reversing up. Reversing up, there's no clean second entries. Pushes to this localized high. It's a first entry long. Looks like it's pulling back to create a second entry long here. But it's an inside bar. It's a little ambiguous. I'm not liking what I see, so I'm just deciding to wait. Pushes up to a new high. I had trouble finding and fitting a clean curve because, as you can see, I saw this green one. Then this big move up. I tried to make this fit. I had something like this at one time, but this doesn't look correct because it doesn't fit very nicely. There's a weird space here, weird space here. There's some ticks that are, these little ticks, tails are pushing out. It doesn't even start at the low side. It just felt like a little bit of a stretch. So I just decided to leave it blank and then just wait and just decide that there's no trade that I could decipher here to take. So it starts pushing down. Looks like it's moving down the shallow channel. It looks like those 2 legs down. Unfortunately, this, I just marked it with an arrow. I really wanted this to close as a green arrow, that I feel confident that it might have been a trade here. First entry long, pullback, second entry long. This green arrow here, I think I would have jumped on it because I would have justified it with the support, EMA bounce, two attempts up. This is the second attempt, and it probably would have worked. But this did set up, so I had no indication in real time that there was a possible trade here. Starts shopping sideways, flushes down, break, tests the low, kind of gives you these dojis right here. I'm not a big fan of that. Pushes down again. As I look back, it was a lot easier to kind of fit something here and here. Then here it gets a little bit choppy, a little bit messy. So I wasn't that, um, not saying that I didn't try hard to try to make something fit, but I was also okay with not knowing exactly what's going on here and waiting for this kind of clear up to get something to see if another trade shows up. So it pushes down, it gets a little bit choppy. It looks like it may be 2 legs up. You have a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Unfortunately, there's an inside bar. Pushes up, pushes back down. I established this green up channel, localized high, first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long here, but it's similar to kind of what these guys fell short of, either being inside or being like the wrong signal bar color. It looks like it's finding support, so I'm just waiting when I'm seeing this in real time. So this is what I see. Fortunately, this doesn't do it. Confirms, and by the time this one closes, I'm not taking any trade because it's already pressing to a new high. Pushes up, hits the sideways consolidation. It looks like it pushes down, first entry long. I technically have a first entry, second entry. I guess you could say there's a higher low. I saw it more as a visual first entry, second entry. In either case, for a higher low or second entry long, this is a terrible signal bar. Pushes up, pushes back down, and it starts running up this. This was a little more conservative, maybe something like this, but I ended up dragging it up to here. And honestly, right about here, this time of day, I remember my mind was drifting and I was already pretty happy with my one trade here. So this part with price action slowing down a bit and not being the cleanest, I wasn't really trying too hard to look for another trade. So I was more casually observing this while doing other things at my desk. And I did see this potential almost trade. I really wanted this to be a better signal bar, meaning I wanted it to be green, because it looks like it's 2 legs down, it's bounce off the EMA, bounce off the support. So this is very close. But what stopped me was being a red candle. And what also stopped me was in the back of my mind, I knew it was profitable for the day. I did not want to press my luck, knowing that this week is FOMC rate decision. Now, usually those Mondays and Tuesdays are very slow, and then Wednesdays is like can be pretty volatile. Today wasn't too bad. There's actually quite a lot of movement. Didn't necessarily translate to a lot of trades though. So I saw this. I really wanted it to be green. It didn't happen. And I was okay just kind of skipping it, knowing I was again profitable for the day. Just I also knew at this time of day, I've been not trading as long as I used to because I know my mind starts to drift this late in the day. So I just kind of doubted it. I just said, well, there's any little reason not to take it, I'm just going to abort and not take it. And so that was the reason. This just wasn't a green candle. I had no idea it was going to flush up like this. And when it did happen, knowing that it would have been a safe like entry and exit after the fact, I was okay letting that go because again, when I see this, I don't know that in real time. And then if this happens, it pushes back up, pushes to the high side, and this kind of gets to the last 30 minutes of the day, which I always don't trade anyways. Pushes to the high side, pushes down, break, tests the low, and just kind of gets choppy and starts moving sideways. And this is about the last 15 minutes around 12:45 Pacific Standard. So I wasn't really looking for anything here. So kind of how I saw the charts today. I think I'm not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow because usually the Tuesday, the day right before the FOMC rate decision day, can be very slow. Typically follows with the Monday, but today it was quite a bit of movement. There was like some price action happening. Didn't necessarily translate to trades, but it was more volume. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow. So hopefully that was helpful.